Hello and welcome to Low Ink August 2024. I am Serena and I am here with Pat.
Hello, it's such a pleasure to be here. It's Low Ink every month. It's one of the biggest tournaments that we have, and I can't wait to see these teams play against each other, show us what they can do, and try to get banned.
Yeah, and we're starting this off with Lash, Squid standing versus Metaphobic. Very excited to see the teams here and what they pull out.
Yeah, special shout outs to Last Squid Standing, who just very recently won Looty, the Div 8A of Looty. So congratulations to them. They're in winning mode right now. So let's see if they're able to keep winning, get a bit more in terms of power. Metaphobic, I believe they are a pickup. I don't know them that well, so we'll see if they're able to counter the power of looted champions.
Yeah, and as the name suggests, I presume they do not play meta weapons, so I'm interested to see what comps come out here. And if I'm not wrong, game 1 will be on Splat Zones on Mako Mart.
Yep.
So what are your thoughts on this map, Pat?
It's honestly, there is no better way to start a Low Ink tournament. This map mode has been a defining map mode of Low Ink. When you have to do a best of one to do a tiebreaker in Low Ink, that's on this map mode. That's how much this map is valued by our tournament organizers and by players as well. There's so many different strategies that can work in here, especially if you have a carbon border ceiling on the side of Last Squid Standing, bringing the carbon and making sure that you have to watch for every ledge. And that's a pretty strong opening by the Last Squids, already getting 2 splats.
Yeah, and we see, as the name suggests, a very interesting non-meta comp coming out from Metaphobic, a big swig here, to try and help with paint. Maybe that can help with these ledges that the carbon will be talking down so well. But if this Viper is able to kill them, they can't do much about that.
Right now, that Viper Ares is looking to get onto the zone as Metaphobic is still struggling to push forward. All of the Last Squids are defending incredibly hard already. Just 30 points left as Last Squid is desperately trying to draw onto the map. Grey with the Zap trying to get in. Ares with the Viper also around. The control is gotten and the Last Squid Standing are still around the zone, but not enough. It's going to be a flip of the zone by Metaphobic, who are still in this game. Now it's their turn to really establish that defense, paint around, and make sure that no one can get to the zone. Serena?
Yeah, and but with that pick on the Charger, that pick on the Viper, pick on the Zap, so many members going down on the side of Metaphobic. Last Squid Standing will be able to retake that zone, and now Metaphobic on the back foot, trying to find a way back in.
Yeah, Metaphobic, they've had difficulty pushing. They really need all their specials to have their fights go their way. A big swig is good when it's in position, but it's bad in a fight. It's bad to push, and right now Cotton with the Viper finishing left and right. As I say, that 2 down on to the Last Squid Standing. Metaphobic are still in this game, and with the strikes they should get very, very nice control right here.
Yes, and with this Charger positioning right onto this stack here, they will be able to control a lot of space. The Crab comes out to try and move them, so does the Hammer, and 2 will go down on the side of Metaphobic. And with that, Last Squid Standing will retake the zone yet again.
Yeah, a lot of back and forth right now between these teams. It looks like Metaphobic is still in this game trying to get in. And that Viper is doing a lot of work in, but the big swig is constantly punished. As the Last Squid Standing are true to their name, still standing onto the map. They don't have any penalty left, Serena. They are looking at a KO right now.
Yeah, and with this crab coming out, it does not seem like Metaphobic will find a way back in, and Last Squid Standing will take game one here.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Was a
Mhm.
was a very, very close match, but unfortunately, Last Squid Standing was just shutting out Metaphobic so many times, retaking the zone so many times that Metaphobic could not really do much, and then they lost.
Yeah, I feel like Last Squid Standing were a bit better at coming back onto the zone, at getting a bit more control. As Metaphobic, they had the fight in them. They were able to stay onto the map, to stay to keep the fight active and get back in, but they were always a bit slower to get onto the zone, a bit slower to get control back over the map. And Last Squid Standing made more and more points throughout the game thanks to that. As we are going on to our next map, Clan Blitz on Museum, there's going to be need on the side of Metaphobic to find a way to get back in, to find a way to stay in that fight. Because if you are stuck on your platform on this map, you are in trouble.
Yeah, and with the Big Swig pick here, I don't know if they will be sticking it. However, that pick, the rain will be a very valuable tool to help push back in against on this map, where being able to move people out of their own plat is very important. So this could be a bit more advantageous for Metaphobic, but we will see.
Yeah, I'm going to be fully honest. I don't know how Big Swig plays in competitive. You almost never see a good Big Swig play in tournaments, so I'm really looking forward to see Metaphobic being able to play the game they want to play on a wider map as this one. They will have more opportunities to show what they can do, as Clan Blitz also allows you to really benefit from having a lot of paint. On the side of Last Squid Standing, they bring the pencil. Meanwhile, Metaphobic brings the editor, and well, no more Big Swig. That's an undercover umbrella with 4 mains of special sub power up to have these ultra powerful ink mines.
I have played undercover player like that before in solo, in like just solo games, and if I'm not wrong, the detection like radius for like how big the area is that you can get spotted by the mine is about the size of an ink strike. So it's gonna be really hard for this Carbon to play here if they can't get rid of this undercover.
I mean, right now that undercover is going to need to fight Clover, activating the Kraken, looking to get in there, not finding much of a splat. Right now it is punished, and all of Metaphobic is still fighting for mid. Both teams are struggling to really establish any control. They have so many different weapons that have their own playstyle. That undercover Brella is going to get punished a bit too eager, but both teams lost 2 players there. The Crab Tank on the side of Last Squids is going to get a lot of control, but there's still a wiper behind you activating the hammer. Very, very nice counter, but still no push on either side. Both teams constantly maintaining the fight. As I say that, Serena, that is 3 down onto the Last Squid. Metaphobic get a push.
Yeah, and with this reslider, they're looking to make something happen, but the reslider will go down, the ball will go down, and they will not be able to score, and they will end up forced back onto their plat, going 3 down.
And it's the turn of the Last Squids to have the control over mid, to prepare the next push. They have the clams at the ready right now, and they have 3 players down. It's just the editor to defend the pencil with the ball. Is going to try to jump in. They open the basket, and 2 minutes into the game, we get 2 super clams in there. That's a good opening push. They're looking to get a third, but it's well defended by Metaphobic. Metaphobic not getting too much damage onto them right now, but now they need a push. They need to get the clams and get forward.
Yeah, and with this undercover going down, they will not have Reslider to
Mm.
clear out the enemy plat. The splat or no carbon will be able to rush in and just cause some damage there, but the Wiper is able to keep them at bay just for a bit, and it goes back to just a tussle for mid.
Yeah, back to that fight that has defined the game so far. Both teams fighting, so much free specials ready for Metaphobic, but they are dropping like flies right now. Arctan looking to get in with the undercover, gets punished before activating the Reef Slider, and now all of the map is yellow as the last Squid standing are trying to find a way onto the basket. Again, the hammer is going to pave the way for the rest of the team. Hero getting in there, and that's another break onto the basket.
Yeah, and with that power clamp, they're going to push their score down past 40, and now numbers are starting to get really low. It's going to be really hard for Metaphobic to get this lead back, and with the dualies going down there, they won't even have a crowd to help push back in.
Yeah, last Squid standing, still very much in control of the platform, getting splat after splat. Super Clam is going to reopen the basket. We are in the last minute, and last Squid standing are looking to get the victory. They're already up 1-0, and they want to seal the deal right here. 3 down onto Metaphobic. Last Squid standing showing how you win. Ludi, that's going to be game for them.
Yeah, and 2 games up now. That is, it's looking really rough for Metaphobic. But if I'm not wrong, I think it is a play all 3. Yes, it is a play all 3 set, so we can see Metaphobic have one last chance to take a game here. And now, if I'm not wrong, the next map will be actually I can't remember what it is.
It's Tower Control Inglot.
Tower Control. Going to be a very interesting map for both of these teams. And again, we keep seeing these interesting, odd developments in Metaphobic's comp every single time. So now we're just curious as to see what Arcton will pull out this time. Pulling out the big swig the first time, pulling out the undercover Brella. Now on this map, I'm honestly expecting a Clash Blaster at this point.
I mean, if you look at Metaphobic's logo, there's a Clash Blaster on them. There's a Clash Blaster on Metaphobic's logo. It's Tower Control. If there's no Clash Blaster coming, I would be surprised at this point. That's what they want to play. I mean, very nice answers by the last Squid standing, really adapting to these absolutely weird curveballs that Metaphobic is throwing. They are adapting. I can't wait to see what Metaphobic is going to do right there, because they have to keep switching up their game if they want to stop last Squid standing.
Yeah, and the Metaphobic strategy I'm seeing of throwing the enemy into very new situations is going to work really well here, especially because who's ever fought against the Clash Blaster? That weapon rarely gets used anymore, so it's going to be really hard.
Yep, here we can see the logo in its full glory. Thank you, Inky.
Yes, thank you very much. That is the team that we are spectating right now. This wonderful, wonderful team we're seeing. They've already played Big Swig, so all that's left here to do is to play Clash Blaster.
I mean, I guess that's the plan, and especially on Inkblot. Tower Control is good for any blaster. Inkblot has so many ledges, so many corners, where a good Clash Blaster can honestly get a lot of results. There are lots of different ways to surprise your opponent in there, but let's see. Last Squid standing, probably not going to change much. Oh, they bring a heavy edit to provide the tacticalers. On the other side, it's a vanilla Tri-Slusher to give the Inkjets for Metaphobic. A bit more meta for them, but still very much unexpected.
Yeah, I think still odd, but something more normal. A bit shocked again to not see the Clash Saucer, but the Tri-Saucer pick is proving itself right now, finding three members,
Hmm.
and now it's just the Carbon left to defend themselves, and they too will go down, and that
Hmm.
means that Metaphobic is going to be able to push this.
Yeah, Metaphobic able to punish the overconfidence on the side of the last withstanding. Last withstanding answering before the push can proceed and getting two down. They're gonna get on the tower. They're gonna move the tower to the first checkpoint with the tactical active. Oh, Metaphobic is throwing the strikes to delay things, to set up their defense. As I say that, last withstanding getting the checkpoint.
Yeah, and now with the Wiper being able to move up here with his hammer, I don't know if this Charger will be able to find picks. They're forced to jump out, and now Metaphobic Last Good Standing passing that second checkpoint, passing the 30 mark. It's looking really dangerous.
Yeah, last withstanding, keeping on with the dominance, keeping on with the formula that works as Metaphobic is defending as much as they can. The final checkpoint is broken. Metaphobic throwing themselves at the tower, able to get a few, but not enough. That's going to be game, set, and match for last withstanding. A very clean 3-0.
Yeah, and that was very entertaining to see. We saw the Tri-Slosher proving itself early on, but
Mhm.
just wasn't enough in the end to hold off this relentless comp with a Wiper and a Carbon constantly running at you.
Mhm.
And in the end, Cooler was able to win.
Mhm.
Meta did in fact win in the end.
Yeah, I feel like Last Quit Standing have seen a lot. They've been through the whole Ludi season, including all of the playoffs. They've seen everything, and they've shown, oh, whatever their opponent does, they're able to adapt. They're able to play their game how they want to do it. They really took control of the game. They didn't let these weird picks phase them, and it shows. Congratulations to them. They win round one of Low Ink, but there are 5 more rounds to go, Serena. We will see much more right after the break. And welcome back. It's now time for round 2 of this Lowing of August. I am Pat again with Serena. This time it's time to watch Calamari Clash going against Hurricane.
I'm very excited to see this match. I'm especially excited to see not just more gameplay, but us finally playing the best mode in the game, Rainmaker. And if I'm not wrong, we are starting off on Rainmaker, Manta Maria specifically, which is very much exciting to see. This map is very interesting. What are your thoughts on this map, Pat?
This map always keeps me on my toes. Because you have that flank route to the side that you always have to take care about, but you can't defend everywhere at once. You have to be ready to rotate incredibly fast depending on what your opponent is doing and how many players you have left on the map. On this map, especially on Rainmaker, you have to constantly pay attention, be ready to throw yourself forward in the right direction, and if you get it wrong, you get splatted very, very fast. If you get it right, though, you can get a KO also very, very, very fast.
Yeah, and of course, on the topic of flanks, we saw 2 wipers last set, and wipers love flanking, so I do wonder if we will continue to see wiper as it has become much more prevalent in today's meta. And honestly, I think it's incredible on this map. So I'm very excited to see if we will see more wiper, of course, but just in general, I'm very excited to see how these teams play on this map as we get right into round 2.
Well, no wiper, but we get a decapitator on the side of Hurricane, giving us still some Splatoon action, Serena, as we're going to see. I love to see a Nautilus coming for Calamari Clash. Nautilus is such a good weapon, gives you so much control, and in the right hands can do a lot of damage to your opponents.
Yeah, and we do see unexpectedly the Splattershot Pro, just the base Splattershot Pro, probably one of the least used crab tank options in this game. But Slurpoke showing us that it's definitely got potential. By pick before this, not able to find 2 on them and immediately negate the use of that crab, trying to say no, there is a reason that weapon is not used, and they will be claiming getting a wipeout with that to continue pushing forward.
Yeah, right now Calamari Clash are getting the splats. They almost got the KO, but Hurricane able to wake up, able to get back in the game, deny it. They still need to pop the Rainmaker. The Rainmaker is popped by the Calamari Clash, but Inkjet is going to be key. This Inkjet really needs to get some control. It's going to work for Hurricane. Calamari Clash has to jump away. Very nice jump. They got a lead to 5 in the first minute and a half. And now Calamari Clash needs to get back, needs to get a lot of control. And they have to take their time. They have to take more and more control. And the Nautilus is doing the right job right now, but gets counter in time. All of Hurricane is back into the fight.
Yeah, but they continue to struggle with this Knot and this Tri-Slosher, both putting on insane pressure, making it really hard to fight anywhere where there's grates or where there's a height difference. It just becomes really hard to fight with weapons. And even just on flat terrain, Nautilus is excellent, and it shows right here as the Nautilus was able to find another double. Just double after double for this Nautilus. Just an insane performance. Yeah. They pull it all the way back to 6, around 10 this time though, but not quite able to push it any further, as the bubble will go down and so will the Rainmaker as they get ready to push back into mid with the strikes and the cooler.
Yeah, it's as you said, every time the camera goes to the Nautilus gets a double on right now. Right now, Hurricane is still struggling to get out of this one. He's just struggling to get some control. They are on to mid, but the pop again goes for the Calamari Clash as Hurricane is with the Crab Tank and the Jetpack. Still fighting simply for control over mid. Calamari Clash dancing around them, waiting a bit. Oh, they lost a few players though. This could be the opportunity. But Hurricane has been waiting for. They only need to just grab a little bit more, have things going.
Yeah, and we do see as Nebu pops his cool that Calamari Clash is still trying hard to hold on to mid. Oh, but with I don't know if I can say that on screen. With Kong getting that double kill, they are able to start pushing back in, tight finding one as well. The bubble is all they have left, or well, the bubble, crab, and splashdown all being used. They've burned all their specials.
Yeah.
And they're still struggling to hold on to mid, but it seems like they're finally finding their way back.
Yeah, it's as you said, Hurricane are using their specials simply to be into mid, simply to keep the fight going into mid. Calamari Clash are waiting, are preparing the next push. They want a little bit more. With 40 seconds left, Hurricane needs to go forward. They don't have a checkpoint yet, and Nebu with a Tri-Slasher gets another trade. The Decapitator still in that fight, going around, and has to move back all of Calamari Clash, maintaining their presence into me, making sure that Hurricane can never get any momentum.
Yeah, but with those strikes, 2 go down, but it's just those 2 problem members we discussed earlier, the Tri-Slosher and the Nautilus left. The Tri-Slosher will go down, it's just the Nautilus, but the Nautilus is able to find a pick on the Rainmaker, and with that, they're not able to get overtime. And that will be game 1 going to
Calamari Clash.
Yes.
Yeah. And in that final push, Hurricane were able to get 3 down onto Calamari Clash, but a single bomb on the Rainmaker really stopped things in its track, made sure that no push would happen. Calamari Clash constantly having a player to maintain the fight, to not let Hurricane get out of mid. Very nice control over the whole game, and especially in Rainmaker, where a single mistake can lose you everything. Really, Calamari Clash took full control, made sure that they decided where the game was happening, and now they are up 1-0, going, remember, it's a play all 3. We are now going into Robo-Roman for zones.
Yeah, and this map is, we already saw Tri-Slosher putting up wondrous numbers there, but this map is also an incredible map for all buckets, which means that Hurricane has to find some way to counter that. We did see earlier how Kong was able to find picks on the Tri-Slosher very easily, but I don't know if they can. I don't know how well they'll be able to continue that. What really shocked me though is that because this is low ink, that username that Kong has is not an alias. This person committed to having that. They committed that to having that for a month. That is.
Oh, and I'm getting. Sabrina, I'm getting confirmation in my ear that we are allowed to say these nuts on stream.
Okay, cool. We are allowed to say these nuts Kong. So yes, I am just shocked that they committed having these nuts Kong as their username for a month.
But one thing to note, Serena, is that on this map, I feel like this is a good map for the Splattershot Pro. They have the range, having the crab tanks is always a good move on there with this wide open space into the middle. And without wasting a second, it's going to be an opening for Hurricane, getting that first control. As I say that, Calamari Clash answering, putting a big bubbler onto the map and trying to get in there, get a bit more fights.
Yeah, and we see the splashdown coming out. We see just calamari Clash being able to push up onto the enemy team's Hurricane's elbow area here. But it does not seem like they're able to hold it, as they're able to not only retake it, but use Crab to try and take Calamari Clashes.
Yeah, right now Hurricane able to defend pretty well, keep the opponent at bay with that inkjet. They took the control over the zone, and now they have the big control Calamari Clash waiting for their specials, waiting for the opportunity to move forward. They already got one on the decavitator, but they have to dodge the strikes, and now they have to start the push. The Reef Slider is going to be enough to get control over the zone, as Zach is dancing around with the Tetras. Tetras in the right hand can do a lot, and a bit more for Calamari Clash, staying in control, keeping the lead, and keeping the zone.
Yeah, but with members going down on Calamari Clash, they struggle to keep a consistent hold of zone, so they just keep on going for splashdowns, going for Reef Sliders, trying to capture this zone, and honestly, I don't know how long they can hold that. They will be able to hold on to it for just a bit longer, as they're able to add to the penalty of Hurricane just a bit more, get picks on Hurricane just a bit more, and hold on just a bit longer here.
Yeah, both teams still fighting for that zone. Nebu with a tri-slasher, getting one, hunting for the other, but gets punished. 2 down onto Calamari. Hurricane looking to get the zone back, maybe? Oh, wait! Oh, wait!
That is a disconnect. And now, I don't know if they know that they can replay, which means I think they're going to be playing out this 4v3, which means
we're halfway through the game. We're past halfway through the game.
Yeah,
I don't think we can.
It happened before the halfway mark.
Okay, it happened right before the halfway point, which means they'd be allowed, but right now teams are still fighting for that zone. Calamari Clash want to keep their lead, but they need to apply penalty over and over. They're not allowed, they're not able to do it. Nebu is going to be punished, and with a crab tank, that's a triple, that's a wipe out. Oh, what a way to fall down for Calamari Clash right now.
Yeah, and now with the lead gone, everybody knows how unbelievably hard it is to try and take a lead back in a 3v4 situation. But they're looking like they might be able to do it, finding 2 picks very early on, getting in with this splashdown, chasing down all the members, just able to put on insane pressure. But no, the try will fall. They have only a few points to go to get the lead back. It seems like they're able to do it. They might be able to win this 3v4.
Calamari Clash not stopping her with a big bubbler in front of the crab tank to delay a little bit more. It's not stopping. Hurricane still struggling to paint the zone. Nebu with a tri-slusher, surviving and forcing this triple ink strike simply to take the zone. Calamari Clash are still in that game, but they have 45 more long seconds to hold, as all of Hurricane is still fighting for that zone. There's not much more penalty. Calamari Clash needs another miracle to get back onto the zone. Mantis with the splashdown, not able to capture with it, is going to give lots of ground. It's just Bug with Virginia. Bug is splatted. That's a delayed wipe. Nebu trying to run in, but it's too late. Nebu just fighting till the very end. I mean, kudos to Calamari Clash for fighting the way they did, but in the end, it wasn't enough. It was just not enough by a hair. Hurricane gets the 1-1.
Yeah, and that disconnect is really unfortunate. But just seeing how they put up so much pressure, even without their 4th player, was just insane. Like, they were able to just keep zone, get the lead back somehow in a 3v4, and yet they just barely were not able to do enough.
That's so unfortunate for Calamari Clash. Because they are showing strength. They've showed incredible plays. They've showed skills, and in low ink, we're in the Swiss format. It doesn't matter, even if they win the next game, they lost a game that's going to cost them in the Swiss format in terms of placement. They still have to win the next game. They still have to stay in the room as we are going for the final game of this set. That's going to be Clan Blitz on Barnacle and Dime. I mean, I hope Calamari Clash can get their head back in and focus to win this next one, honestly.
Yeah, and I will say I do think that the only real benefit, of course, disconnect is tragic and it always sucks to lose to one. However, there is one benefit. It's a benefit for the fans because we get to see an intense game 3. I am very hyped. We will be going to Clan Blitz, Barnacle, and Dime, which is historically a very good app for Splatlings, if I'm not wrong. I might be wrong. I think I'm wrong, actually. But Nautilus is a good weapon. Nautilus is very strong of a weapon, and so is Heavy Edit Splatling. So it's a very good... So it's not specifically a good map for them, but they are good weapons.
Yeah, Sabrina, it's a good map for range. And there, we've seen the Nautilus, the Heavy Edit, and the Spatter Shot Pro being the weapons with the most range on here. These are the weapons that are going to shine. These are the weapons that the other team will want to shut down to make sure that they don't get the control, because these are the weapons that control Barnacle and Dime. It's all about range, and finding a way to push yourself under the opponent's basket. As we say that, not much change in terms of composition. Both teams bringing back what they've been playing so far. Zach is bringing a 52 gal. That wall will be very, very useful to keep themselves alive against the range of the Heavy Edit and the Pro.
Yeah, and we will see D's Nuts Kong trying to go in and find a pick. Not quite able to, but despite the one-member down situation they found themselves in, they're still able to hold on a little bit and just keep on trying to get specials and trying to find a way in, as similarly Calamari Clash will try to find picks, and with that both teams will go 2 members down, but Calamari Clash is able to find the delayed or almost delayed wipe, but D's Nuts Kong able to jump in, start causing trouble, and it's just now a tussle for their flag.
Very nice trade right there. The Decapitator staying there, keeping the fight there, allow the rest of the team to get back in there. As I said, that Calamari Clash is going in, getting all the clams in the basket with a wipeout, and this is Calamari Clash in control now with the Nautilus in a high position, looking to simply defend, keep the rest of the team in position. They have the time to get back for the clams. Buck has 7 clams, could make a super clam, and is going to get to 24. Serena, Calamari Clash are on fire right now. They want that victory.
Yeah, they really do. They pushed past 30 in their first push, showing how much they know for a fact that if they can hold their own and nearly win in a 3v4, they definitely can take it in a 4v4. And, you know, we're seeing it. Like, they're putting up insane pressure. These specials all coming out. They only go 1 down to the crab, able to still hold on to their plat. And now it's an even numbers yet again, despite the specials being used on each side.
Yeah, Hurricane has a lot to do. Calamari Clash keeping that fight in. They activate their specials simply to keep that fight going, as all of Hurricane are struggling to collect clams. They don't have clams at the ready, and they have 2 players down. That's going to be another push for Calamari Clash, who are going onto their opponent's snipe. Very nice triple ink strikes right there. I believe that's by Silver. That's going to allow all the rest of Hurricane to get back in there. This time they have the clams, they have the numbers. It's their turn to put themselves in position and get the push. All they're waiting for is the one opportunity to open that basket as Calamari Clash is struggling to defend. Basket is open and 3 down. It looks like Hurricane is getting in and finding the answer finally.
Yeah, that City Bomb able to find one on these Nuts Kong, but does not seem like he'll be able to hold this top left section. But can they keep the basket open? They need to find clams. They aren't able to. The basket will close, and now that is terrible for Hurricane, as they're just cut short on this push. But still, a push to 48, very strong. They will be able to take lead back very soon.
Yeah, as we say that Calamari Clash is back onto mid, back into that fight, preparing their specials, preparing their clams. They are in their Mantis with a splashdown, is going to get the splats, lots of splats going, as the Decapitator is still not enough for the fight. Lots down on each side, both teams back to the drawing board, preparing the next things, but it looks like at least Hurricane managed to keep their Super Clam in the process. Going into that last minute, they're going to need that Super Clam if they want to get back in the game. Nebu activating the Tacticular, and more fights into mid. Silver has to move back to save a little bit of time for the rest of the team, as Calamari Clash is simply cleaning up the fight in mid right now.
Yeah, but as you say that, yet again, Commentators curse strikes as Hurricane finds yet another on the Tri-Saucer. That's no cooler now for the enemy team, for Calamari Clash. And now it's very close fight. They just need to make a ball, and they will be able to take the lead back here. Just a few clams past the D-Nutsong, but no, D-Nutsong goes down while clams are being passed to them. They cannot seem to make a ball, and that will be the set going to Calamari Clash.
Yeah, Calamari Clash, their push was bigger. Both teams had one single push onto the basket. But Calamari Clash getting a bit more splats, getting control of the position, and allowing themselves to go back for clams without letting the basket close is really what gave them the victory in that game. But that game 3 was very much a close one. Calamari Clash dodged a bullet there.
Yeah, and as this ends, we will be going into a break while we wait for round 3 to start. We will be back. Hello and welcome to round 3 of Low Ink August 2024, day 1. I am here yet again with Pat, and we are going to be watching the Pastel Cartel versus the Shadow Ancients.
Yeah, I mean, it's it's the duel of the shades, I guess. It's the Pastel versus the Shadow. We'll see how these teams are able to do as we are getting all in the lobby. We will start this round on Tower Control on Ship-Shaped Cargo Company. Very nice way to start the game, and I mean, it's all about finding control over that tower. It's pretty rough to get out of mid, especially with these checkpoints. These checkpoints are among the longest in the game. You have to stay on the tower for 10 or 15 seconds on that first checkpoint, but once you are past that, things can snowball incredibly fast. So getting that first checkpoint, standing that control is going to be very, very important for these two teams.
Yes, and I'm very also excited. I mean, of course, Tower Control Ship Shape, interesting map, but you gotta understand, it's not Rainmaker, so that's what I'm interested in, because that's the best mode in the game. So I'm very hyped for Rainmaker Humpback Fun Track.
Hey, I mean, if you like fast plays, if you like to see risk, if you like to see lots of bombs going left and right, Rainmaker will be nice, but we will start with Tower Control whether you like it or not, Serena.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate that all tournaments aren't only Rainmaker. They really should.
We'll have a Rainmaker only tournament soon, I'm sure, just for you.
Someday, yeah. But we will be seeing an E-leader on this map. The red the custom E-leader, if I'm not wrong, the Kraken one, which is going to be very exciting to watch. Also, a junior instead of a Zap, so they will not be having any cooler options with two fairly standard other weapons in Dooley and Slosher.
Yeah,
however, we do see, moving on to this side, we will be seeing a more traditional comp with cooler and dualies and range blaster and shot here. And it's seeming to work out as they are moving up a bit early, finding picks and able to continue coming back with the cooler that they have.
Yeah, the Shadow Ancients still having control over mid as the Pastel Cartel are still fighting their way in, still fighting their way to the tower, but now with a pick onto the shot, there is their turn to get on top, to get onto mid. Tacticaler is deployed on the side of the Shadows as they have to jump away. Oh wait, lots of fight happening left and right. Pastels are still in control over mid despite losing a whole bunch of players. They were able to keep that position, force the Shadows away. That means they still have control over the tower as the Shadow Ancients are still struggling to stay there. The Editor is keeping them away as the pencil has to move out now. The Shadow Ancients are on the tower, the Pastel Cartel.
Yeah, and we see Kevin go for a pick on this crab. The dualies do end up trading, and it is this bucket left to hold on to this top right area here, and it seems like they are going to be able to do that, fighting the range here, forcing them to pop Kraken, but with that very same Kraken being picked off here, and 3 will go down on the side of Pastel Cartel.
Yeah, we have a bit more fight in there as the Shadow Ancients now in control of the checkpoint are looking to clear it. That bomb is not going to be enough, and now it's when things get incredibly dangerous for the Pastels. The tower is looking like it's about to run away, but the Pastel Cartel defending that tower, surrounding it completely and keeping it from snowballing across the port. Pastel Cartel are back on the tower, and now with the fight, with the specials, they're able to get to the checkpoint themselves. 2 minutes left in the game, Serena. We will see if the Pastels are able to get the checkpoint.
Yeah, and they do continue to hold tower here, finding picks left and right, just able to keep the space, clearing the checkpoint, taking the lead, and now with this push the Julie has, trying to find a pick, but Sane-san will shut it down there, and the Junior and the Bucket are just left to fend for themselves.
Hey, that's the end of that push, but the Pastel Cartel can be pretty happy. They got the lead right there. Now it's on the Shadows to move forward to get the splats. They get one thanks to the Kraken. Right now, the fight is not over as the Shadow Ancients are back on top of the tower. There's no checkpoint now. One mistake and things could end very fast as the Pastel Cartel is still defending, is still keeping the tower coming, getting it back into mid, and with 2 down onto the Shadows, they are back in attack mode. 1 minute left, and the Pastels are in control. Very nice snipe.
Yes, and we do see this E-Leader putting on pressure, as you mentioned earlier, with these snipes that they're getting. They do have Kraken to hold tower if need be, but they seem to be using it aggressively, and it's working out, able to support the Junior in their fight, and now they get yet another push instead of trying to save up specials for Shadow Ancients push. They are trying to push on their own to stall them just a little bit here, but it seems like that push will very quickly falter, and Shadow Ancients will be able to push up as TV moves in with that Kraken.
But with just 15 seconds left, the Shadow Ancients are in complete disarray. It's just the shot dancing on the map, on the tower. It's not going to be enough. Pastel are in control right now, and that E-Leader is just sealing the deal with all the specials on the tower. That's game number 1 for the Pastel Cartel.
And now we will be moving on to Rainmaker, Humpback, Humpjack. I do have a lot to say about this map mode.
I mean, I'm all ears. It's Rainmaker, don't blink, and there's always so much you can do, Serena. Well, how do you like to play on this map?
A lot of people call this a place to spam bombs onto the elbow area whenever checkpoint gets taken, and say it's very stally, but I think that that's a very narrow-minded point of view to have, because there's a lot of strategy that goes into charging up curling bombs and where to place suction bombs. So I do think that this map is absolutely flawless, and there's nothing wrong with it ever. But in other aspects, I will say in mid it is very entertaining to see fights, as buckets are very strong here. But but even with that advantage that the weapon class has, just of how the map works, it does not stop them from getting beaten by a shark that can just easily surprise you. So it's always very entertaining to watch.
Yeah, as you say, that elbow, and it's not about the bomb you throw, it's about where you put that bomb, and that elbow, how you put your bomb onto the elbow can completely stop a push in its track, or on the other hand, can completely wad the opponent, allow you to get onto the street, allow you to move forward. And we'll see how these teams adapt. I feel like Pastel Cartel, they're probably not the best maps for the E-Leader, not the best map mode for it. We'll see if they adapt, if they change the way they play. I mean, these two teams were pretty even. They broke the same checkpoint, they had the same ground, and it looks like the Pastel are ditching the backline. Meanwhile, the Shadow Ancients are bringing a ballpoint Splatling to the mix. That ballpoint, or with the good jetpack that you can get on this map, you can apply a lot of pressure from a safe position. I can't wait to see how it works.
Yeah, and we do see how Wellspring coming out can
Mm-hmm.
really shift the game here, because this is a backline that can always apply so much pressure, make it feel so impossible to approach. People, oh, but the Wellspring isn't very important if you can't even stop yourself from going three down, almost going four down, almost giving the junior a quad as this ballpoint is left to fend for themselves, and they just can't do it. But they will not be able to claim checkpoint regardless, just because the Tri-Slosher was able to stop them.
What an opening by the Pastel Cartel.
Two
The
for
bomb! The double with a single bomb, the Pastel Cartel just going in. They're gonna get a KO! What?
And that's the
Game!
beauty of Rainmaker. You never know what to expect, and games can last much, much shorter than any other mode, keeping you always on your toes, always leading to something entertaining.
Wow, what? I mean, everything done perfectly by the Pastel Cartel here. Getting the good opening, getting through, and getting splat after splat, and in the end, after pushing through the checkpoint, simply getting more splats, snowballing things. Right now, it feels like the Shadow Ancients need to put themselves in control, need to get their head back in the game. Going into Hagglefish Market, that's going to be a rough one.
Yeah, and of course, the E-Leader, which worked so well earlier, we may see a return because of how unbelievably strong just long ranges on that little canopy that you have for snipers to go on. So I do think that this will be very hard for Shadow Ancients to try and win on, but we can only see.
Yeah, I mean, in that game number one, we saw that the Shadow Ancients were able to take some ground, were able to fight it out a bit. They need to not let themselves be down from that previous game. It's Rainmaker, it can happen. You miss one push, you get wiped once, and this is what happens. Right now, Pastel Cartel, all they need to do is seal the deal, and as you said, with an elite above the zone, you can get a lot of control. We'll see if they're able to, if they bring back the elite, and if they're able to do exactly that. Last chance for the Shadow Ancients to take a game off of them. Pastel Cartel bringing back the no backline, and Shadow Ancients is their turn to have well, they're bringing back the pencil again.
Yeah, and I really was not expecting a Wellspring on this map, because it's just it doesn't really have the range that Chargers have here. It doesn't have the paint that Chargers have here, but of course it can still be a problem, making it really hard to approach. And with the juniors' support of bombs, it's always hard for the enemy to get anything done, as Shadow Ancients have another tragic loss of a member to a junior's bomb once more, as Wellspring showcases its strength, shredding that crowd.
The Pastel Cartel getting more and more splats right there. They are in full control and they have a wipe out. It's now last chance for the Shadow Ancient. They need to get that next push and they don't have any specials to do so. That's going to be a rough one, but they only have 15 ticks to get in. The Sloshers just traded and one more down onto the Shadows. That's going to be game number 3 going to the Pastel Cartel. Full control. They took game 1 to really learn how to fight the Shadow Ancients, and then game 2 and 3 were absolute dominance. Pastel Cartel completely in the Shadow Ancients' head right there.
Yeah, and we will see, I do hope that we see more of the Pastel Cartel later on in day 2, of course, because watching good junior play like that is so few and
Mhm.
far between how much more popular things like Splattershot and Zap are. So, very, 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 very nice to see that, and I hope to see more of it. But for now, we will be going on break, and that, if I'm not wrong, will be all for me and Pat.
Yeah, it's time for us to say goodbye. We have to leave the microphone to Vapor and DRF, the crazy duo. I'm sure you'll have a banger with them. But before we go, Serena, where can I find you on the internet?
You can find me at StarLolZZ on Twitter and StarLol on everything else.
Mhm.
But I'm curious as to where they can find you, Pat.
You can find me on Twitch and Twitter at PatJ or Tom with underscores in between. And you can also find me on Blue Skies at PatJ or Tom, all together without underscores. And that's pretty much it. Thank you. Thank you so much to IPL for having us. And a special thanks to Inky for being our awesome observer too. Thank you all for watching us, and see you around. Bye.
Bye.
Welcome back, everyone, to Low Ink August 2024. I am Vapor with DRF, but before we get started with these teams, what is your favorite airline, DRF?
Well, I believe I am legally now obligated to say Delta Airlines is the superior airline. It is not what I am flying to Riptide, but it is what we are going to be flying with here today in this round 4 matchup. We've got Delta Airlines taking on Honorbound. So this is going to be a fun matchup for sure. As we take a look at the current standings, Vapor, I frantically tried to pull it up because I lost it, so save me here for just a quick second.
Yeah, I see Honorbound is currently 2-1 throughout Group B of Swiss so far. Delta Airlines also 2-1, both in the latter half 20 range in the current standings. Of course, that's about to change as we head further into Swiss. 3 rounds to go, and we have to start out with one here. Honorbound Delta Airlines, starting on Clam Blitz, Scourge Gorge.
Oh, Clam Blitz Scorch Gorge is such a great map mode to set the tone of this matchup between these two squads, as this is going to, be just a series of explosive scores between these two. So it's going to be an opportunity for either team to set that pace, really try to deliver a message early on, but also possibly get some good back and forth gameplay. So this game really could go any which direction to start out. So I'm going to be paying particular attention to how these teams do open up as we dive on into game number 1. Vapor, let's go ahead and load on in and take a look at what weapons these teams are going to bring out for us.
Yeah, so let's start things off. Back to that Snipe Rider. You have to have that cooler, especially when you want to play very fast. Blaster on each side, custom range blaster with that Kraken on the side of Honor Bound. So let's get things started off here as we collect these clams and head right into mid.
Yeah, so early on, both teams trying to just get some early clam economy in their favor. Not really engaging quite yet, just poking around for now. Triton on that slosher is going to go down early, and that's going to be 2 down as we are now going to see Honorbound make a move towards the basket, and they're going to get the first score of the game in under 30 seconds. So it is going to be a quick push though, as they get 1+3 in, the rest of their team retreating after that pencil goes down, and this will be an opportunity for Delta Airlines to quickly respond as they've got a slight stagger in their favor here.
It all opened up, just finding those few picks early on and push that as fast as you can, get that control. And on the counter push is going to be Honorbound with that Kraken Warrior, finding one, looking for another with that Kraken with his 2 other members of their team to finish another off. That is advantage once again for Honorbound as they try to look to move up a little bit further to displace that pencil, which is going to be that main key backline stabling force.
Yes, and there it goes. The pencil is down. Honorbound making their move. Their pencil was cooler though, so they're back in fast, able to take down the T-Tech. The power clam is in. Can they move up with the rest of these clams? Blaster doing a great job on the side of Delta Airlines from just slowing down this push, but couldn't hold on long enough. Actually, yes! All teammates coming in to clean that one up, and this basket will close. A phenomenal defensive hold there to just allow the bare minimum through. So now Honorbound expanding their lead, but not by as much as they would have hoped.
Yeah, they are still in range of 2 power clams taking the lead for Delta Airlines. These trip strikes are going to try to slow down Honorbound, and finding 2 off it. Warrior popping that Kraken, trying to work with their shot teammate there, and finds one to hold as much move control as they possibly can. As the Kraken expires, moving up, the Blaster ends up overextending a little bit. Triton finds a trade there, but that's still 3 down on the side of Delta Airlines.
Yeah, Delta Airlines having trouble trying to break through that midway point of the map. They've been excellent on the defensive end, but at some point, defense is going to have to turn into some offense if they want an opportunity to win this game. These trip strikes, plus the pick on that custom range blaster, should open up an opportunity here, but no, the blaster gets shut down, and that's a 3-down situation for Delta Airlines. Make it a delayed wipe, and this will be another push for Honorbound. If they could just pass the clams around, finally able to do so, surviving the pencil shots there, and this is a scoring explosion, Vapor.
Huge explosion, opened up, finding that delayed wipe, got a jumper in as well, set up that crab to follow up with even more points, and that's all they really need to do. That is two back down, make that a staggered 3 down. It's only Warrior up there trying to escape as they're going to get super rushed down here, getting collapsed on it, and it's now Delta Airlines to try to make an approach option with minimal clams.
Yeah, not too many clams to their name. Passing clams around. The T-Tech with 7. Able to take down the Splash. They need one more. They're in position to pop open this basket for the first time this game. Finally finds the 8th clam, but maybe a little bit late there on the delivery. And they're going to get the 1 power clam in. Trying to find more, but forced to retreat. A minute to play here. Triton going to try to keep this basket open, but not going to be there in time. So it's a one and done push for Delta Airlines, but they finally get their first push of the game, which honestly could be a small momentum swing here, but they're gonna have to get a clutch defensive stop here once again. Oh, the beautiful Kraken though is going to quickly allow Honorbound back up to the basket.
Yeah, that Kraken was huge, opened up, and look at his positioning as well. The Zuka from the snipe set up that crab. Warrior has the clams to put in, but they're just not going in. It's going to be Tao from the front to finish it off. Finally, could have been done a little bit quicker if they realized they had clams there, but not going to change the score of this. That's going to be a knockout in favor of Honor Bound.
I think Warrior there might have been experiencing a bit of lag or something, or just wasn't aware of the scoreboard, because they could have ended the game there, but it seemed like they were a little bit on the struggle bus there for a moment, trying to get their bearings. So luckily their teammates able to come on in and clean that one up. And yeah, of course, yeah, Warrior did disconnect here, it seems. So might have actually been some lag issues at the end, but hey, they were in fantastic position. They were not punished for that instance of lag there. So Honorbound cruising to a game 1 victory. And
Warrior was a key part of that as well. That Kraken to just sustain mid as much as possible was huge. They just used it, even if they were 2 down. They used that Kraken in mid to slow everyone else on Delta Airlines very far back, so they can just hold as much of mid as possible to let their team get in.
Certainly, as we are now trying to get folks back into the lobby. There's definitely some confusion going on here in the lobby as we are starting up a 4v3 in the background. So we will make sure that we get the proper folks in here. I guess they just wanted a quick little preview of Manta Maria Tower Control. But in the meantime, Vapor, what airline are you taking to Riptide? Well, I guess you're not taking an airline, are you?
I'm not really taking an airline. I'm driving my nice little carpool. But I did just get here to university literally yesterday, and I took Delta on my flight here.
Okay, see, all right. So we could keep this pseudo Delta sponsorship going.
Hey,
no.
And anything to be in the nice books, am I right?
Yeah, absolutely. We see, and Delta, if you want us to keep talking about this, just send IPL a message. You know, we'll more than happy to keep the conversation going. But nonetheless, we finally do have all of the correct players back in the lobby. So we will get game number 2 going in just a few moments.
Yeah, and as you did allude to earlier, they took a little sneak peek at Manta Tower Control, which is what is up next here, and again a little bit favored on the rush down. So I do believe Warrior with that Kraken Blaster, assuming that comes back, is going to be another key factor but buckets are also very, very strong here. Keep an eye on the Triton on the side of Delta Airlines to try to flip some momentum, especially in that neutral and disadvantaged state.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct there. If Delta Airlines is going to bounce back in game number 2, a lot of it is going to run through Triton, because especially if they bring back that slosher, being able to play around those ledges, those trip strikes around the objective are going to be massive. So definitely keep that in mind as we watch these teams battle it out in game number 2. But Honor Bound was just such a cohesive unit that it's going to be tricky to break through their defenses for sure. So that's something that I would like to see Delta Airlines, focus on here. It is a pickup, so it could be a little bit trickier to, be as coordinated as a team that's as established as Honor Bound, but they're going to need to quickly find a way to coordinate those specials, tighten things up just a little bit.
And we're going to head right into this. Let's see if they are able to tighten up their momentum around each other. Tower control, Manta Maria with a little bit of a longer loading screen here. There you go. Blaster back out for it. Dandy, another really good weapon to control. But we don't see the blaster out from Honor Bound. It's going to be swapped over Warrior to that Vanilla Machine with Fizzy Bomb or Booyah Bomb.
Ooh, that's gonna be some exciting stuff there. I don't even know the last time I've really seen a Vanilla Machine played in a tournament, so I'm excited to see what Warrior is able to do with this. That Booyah Bomb will be pretty good for some objective focus, as Pieman launching these trip strikes early on, and that is actually going to be 2 down on the side of Delta Airlines. But Delta Airlines trying everything they can to retaliate here, not going to be able to do so. Pencil going to get run down by Pieman, and Pieman will find the pick, plus the jump in, and this should be an opportunity for Honor Bound to get their first push of the game, but they also lose 2 of their own on the opposite side of where this tower's trying to go.
Yeah, 2 of the members of Delta Airlines just rush through the other side as the splasher drop back onto the tower to push that tower away. Danny will find a trade here in mid to keep things neutral. Warrior popping this Booyah Bomb, trying to keep control up for them on their plat here. One member tower rushing into mid, trying to find a pincer play with the Warrior on that tower. One going down on the backside of the tower, finally getting cleaned up, but there's still 2 members in mid for Delta Airlines controlling this tower. Pieman trying to take the fight there, but gonna slow it down for the moment.
Yeah, a relatively even game at this stage. Both teams at that first checkpoint, but neither's been able to break through quite yet. These trip strikes are going to be used as a curtain to shield this tower and force the first checkpoint through, and they are able to find a nice pick there as well. 2v2 situation between these 2 teams, as Triton trying to get up onto that left ledge but unable to do so, forced to go back to tower and try to just hold the front lines as everyone's coming up the ramps. Triton somehow dancing through, finally going to go down, but this tower has already progressed all the way to 30 points remaining. Finally a stop coming through here, but no, it's 1v1, and whoever wins this is going to set their team up nicely for the rest of this push here, but somehow Delta Airlines slips through and reaches the 3rd checkpoint.
Trip strikes has another screen, 2 down. Triton trying to take the fight on tower. 1v4, finds 1 but goes down anyway. Huge points on the board for Delta Airlines. 12 remaining, almost getting through that final 3rd checkpoint, as well as they're already back in mid. Trip strikes out for Honor Bound to try to get back control.
And some jumping around here for Delta Airlines, trying to reposition themselves, able to even up the numbers once again, but it's going to be a rush through in the street here, going to lose that 2v1, so that's going to allow Delta Airlines to hold firm control of their street and their bunker, and now it's a stagger for Honor Bound. They're trying to make something happen here. 2 minutes to play. They just need to back up for a second, try to build specials once more, and just, re-engage, because Honor Bound just kind of throwing bodies at this point, trying to keep this position in their bunker and in mid.
Yeah, it definitely feels like Honor Bound's relying a lot on the cooler. Grab that cooler, run in, throw your bodies at them, try to force a mistake on their part, but they're getting punished every single time because they stagger out their moves. Finally, with advantage, they are able to push past this first checkpoint. Brandon raining this tower, Zuka, trip strikes out. The machine does end up going down, but it's one down on each side. The pencil on the side, Delta Airlines goes down to Pieman as well, trying to push through the second checkpoint. Pieman on the flank, finds two, looks for one, unable to get any, but that checkpoint still not taken. Really good defense here by Delta Airlines.
Yeah, Delta Airlines has completely flipped the script by coming up with some clutch defenses here in game number 2, and they are now a minute away from claiming this game number 2 as well. They're in fantastic position to do so. Honor Bound reeling back towards their bunker, gearing up once again for another push. They're going to have to survive these trip strikes first. It seems like they're going to just try to wait it out and build up some specials of their own. Cooler is out though for Honor Bound. They're going to try to make an opportunity happen here as Tao gonna retreat, make sure that everyone's coolered up for what could be their last stand in this game. 30 seconds to go. The numbers between these two squads pretty even at this stage. It's gonna come down to this team fight, I think.
Nanis on the flank as well, finding 1-2 down on Honor, make that 3. That's going to be a trade. It's only Tao left up, and they need to try to be a hero here with 7 seconds left on the clock. From behind them as well, finding one on tower, looking for the jump in as well. They go down. They are on the offensive now, moving into that street with numbers advantage. There's a third going down. They're all out of spawn now. It's up for Honor Bound to push through the second checkpoint and try to get onto that next level. But the bomb finding Brandon on the tower. They're all gonna dive it. Pieman, Warrior, the trip strikes out to slow it down. Warrior going down. It's only Pieman. They go down to the trip strikes as well. Jump is not in time. That's going to be Delta Airlines to run away with this one.
Oh, the GG trip strike saves the day for Delta Airlines. Beautifully placed there. Honor Bound actually was really close to timing that to where they could outlast those trip strikes and get back on the tower before Delta Airlines can make a move. They just jumped the gun a little bit, and as a result, their final push, they're getting cut short. What's looked really promising following that 3-down situation, but nonetheless, a really good game between these two teams in game number 2 after what seemed to be a pretty decisive victory for Honor Bound. So Delta Airlines will tie up the set, and we are going to a decisive game 3, Vapor.
Yeah, it is down to Rainmaker on Sturgeon Shipyard. I'm just going to be straight up. I'm not a fan of this. However, there's a lot of good passing opportunities through the left side, taking that high ground. Really good when you have that control already established. However, that pit area in the court is always a good turn option.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to be curious to see the strategies that get brought out here between these two teams, because you really could go about this a couple of different ways. And I feel like every team has a unique approach here, which is what makes this map mode exciting. But I also understand that it is not necessarily the most popular map mode for a number of different reasons.
Yeah, definitely not everyone's favorite, of course, but it has those key factors. It's always looking to see what you can improve on, and this is a map where if you get wiped, you can get punished very easily. It is a snowball-heavy map, especially when you get past that checkpoint.
Yeah, and these teams are ready to go. So we're going to go ahead and dive on into game number 3. Both teams are looking for that 3-1 record to put themselves in prime position for Alpha Bracket. And let's go ahead and dive on into this one, Vapor. And taking a look at the compositions, we are seeing Warrior switch back to that custom range blaster. But otherwise, all things the same.
Yeah, sticking the same here. I believe that this is going to come down to whoever dies first gets that hard disadvantage. And with that, that's going to be 1-2 down on the side of Delta Airlines. Brandon picking up that Rainmaker. That's a staggered 3 down. Highman already rushing, cleaning up a path for Brandon, finding that early checkpoint less than 30 seconds in.
Oh, you were right on the nose with that one, Vapor. It really did come down to who went down first, because now we are seeing Honor Bound all the way down to 44 points remaining, and we are merely 40 seconds into this game. They are trying to hold this position as well, doing an excellent job so far. Warrior going to get the one pick, then pop the Kraken, a huge play there, going to force the last remaining member of Delta Airlines to retreat to those grates, opening the path right up to the pedestal. Oh, they are running away with this, Vapor.
Ran it all the way down. They had the advantage. That Kraken was huge. Picked up the Rainmaker, got that pop, and now Tao is still sharking here. Finds a 1. Rainmaker will reset back into mid, but Warrior and Tao both still up in their spawn, while Highman trying to pick up that Rainmaker and bring it up as fast as they can.
Yeah, they want to knock this one out. They know they can. They were sniffing that pedestal just a second ago, and they are already working their way past this first checkpoint once again. Numbers entirely in their favor at this stage, trying to just outlast a couple of these trip strikes. Delta Airlines does have another set of trip strikes that they're going to be unleashing here. Dodging, weaving, left and right. They will finally go down, but take a look at Tao just sharking on that top left side, waiting for someone to make a move so that they can drop in on them. But it's going to be Anonymous that is making a move now as well towards mid, trying to get behind enemy lines. But Warrior is going to make a move here. Tao from going to go down. Oh, finally, for the first time this game, we will see Delta Airlines with a numbers advantage, but half of the game clock is basically gone.
That is basically just crazy to think about. That is a half a game push, 2.5 minutes of a push on a Rainmaker, all the way up to 7. Finally getting a few points in, but they go down before that checkpoint even. Tao, once again, being on that side, finding the blaster, tying in there as well on that snipe to keep up control with another going down. Zuka out, another trying right beneath that ledge, trying to fight Pieman, and Pieman comes up clean with that one.
Oh, that was a huge play. They're now going to take it to this top left side to see if they can knock this one out, or at least add on a couple more points. Tao somehow survives everything and picks off 2 along the way. Tao just making big play after big play. Will they knock it out? No! But they bring it all the way to 1 point remaining. What a sequence there from Tao.
What a sequence, and Warrior still in. Tao jumping back in as well, finding the pick on the bucket. Rainmaker is grabbed. Tao's up there, finds the pick onto the Rainmaker. Tao is still being a rat in their spawn, and they've not got him out of there. Finally getting a trade there, but another jump in there. It's a Warrior up top now.
Oh, this is just a wild game from Otterbound. They are just hitting the gas, going as fast as possible, and they know at this stage it's fine if they're a little bit reckless because the momentum is fully in their favor, and it's going to take a massive play out of Delta Airlines to get themselves back in this game. Delta Airlines does have a small numbers advantage to work with at this stage, but of course Tao is sharking yet again.
They're cracking under pressure. Tao with the onto the shield. Just this rush forward offense from Honor Bound, making Delta Airlines just cracked under that pressure. Blaster going down, trying to force things without paint around them. Highman just chilling here on the spinner. Tao once again up on those grates, being a nuisance on that backside. They are scared. Delta Airlines are looking for these Sharkers, and Tao once again trying to make a move on the backside, being a distraction. They're not letting them out of sight, and that's just slowing down this offense from Delta Airlines as much as they can, fighting 2 with that Zuka.
Wow, what a play there, but this is a 3-down situation. Make it a delayed wipe. Delta Airlines saying, we are not out of this yet. Do not call off this takeoff. We are going to give ourselves overtime. They have a checkpoint in the middle as well, which will allow them an opportunity to reset this Rainmaker timer if they can get there. So now it looks like Honor Bound trying to build up some specials, but it's going to be a very slow push. Triton trying to survive. The Zuka will pick it off. A huge play there. Now it's this Kraken that they're going to have to fend off as well. They do so, but now the Trip Strikes coming in, survive that as well, but they're going to get run down. Oh, what a last possession there as well from Delta Airlines, but Honor Bound showing that 4 minutes of offense is really just such a good strategy if you're able to pull it off.
Just run forward to keep them under pressure, especially because in the previous games they've just been struggling with that pressure. Once Delta Airlines got the push, they made a solid push, but it was either a shark or the amount of rush down pressure that just got to them.
Absolutely. It honestly, Honor Bound played that beautifully. I would love to know the numbers that Tao just put up, because that was insane to see just them get pick after pick after pick after pick. I mean, have yourself a game, my friend. Like that was quite impressive. You should give yourself a pat on the back. But it was just overall, I mean, Honor Bound just rallied around Tao's aggression super well, and they just never ever let up.
And it's not just Tao either. Hyman on that splash, keeping a lot of offensive pressure. Warrior on that blaster and machine, yes, pulling forward with Tao and giving up to Brandon as well. Once they got that control, Brandon refused to give it up.
Yeah, and honestly, I really liked the change by Warrior to go back to that blaster. I think that blaster is such an integral part of this composition, at least within the small scope that we're seeing here against Delta Airlines. It was a brilliant idea to switch back to that blaster following game 2.
Oh, definitely. And now with that is going to be Honor Bound to move on to 3-1 so far through this Swiss stage. Round 5 is coming up next, and either way, we are coming down to the must-win territory. We see these results on screen, and every win, even in just a single game, matters.
It absolutely does. Every game does matter, especially for the teams that are in prime position to get into that alpha bracket, because you really don't want it to fall apart at this stage. So if the teams that are 3-1 in particular, those are the teams that are definitely the ones to watch, as that's going to be, if you lose, then that round 6 matters even more, because 4-2 doesn't even guarantee you alpha bracket. You're hoping that 4-2 gets you into alpha bracket. But for the teams that are currently 4-0, they're in a pretty solid position, but they do need to win one of these next 2 rounds to make sure that they're in a good spot. But I mean, look at how many 2-1s there are in this round, Vapor. Like this was a really good round.
Oh, definitely. With Zero Magnum 2-1 over Bash, Jet Lag 2-1 over Black Squid, Inkburger, just going down the list, there's at least 5 2-1 rounds on this left side of Group B.
There's 15 2-1s is what I am counting in total from Group B. We're looking at about a 50-50 split, which is really, really good.
And it doesn't stop here looking at Group A either. So many 2-1s as well. Just so many points on the board. Every single one counts.
Also 15 here. All right, so quick maths. So yeah, hey, that's a good sign of just how competitive this tournament is. And I mean that is the beautiful part of Swiss, is that you do get in theory these closer matchups the further you progress through the tournament, and that's the nice part of it. So it's been pretty cool to see where these teams or where all these scores are going. What's the records are starting to look like and who's separating themselves from the pack. But we do have our round 5 matchup already decided here, Vapor. It is going to be Fearless versus ConfiTeam.
And I'm just looking at these logos as well. ConfiTeam. Well, it looks very, very nice. Fearless's logo definitely gives some fear to my eyes.
Honestly, it's some pretty solid branding here between these two teams. I'm a big fan. So we'll see if the brands can stack up to really throw themselves to the forefront here, start to make a name for yourselves even more. And actually, Vapor, I think I do recognize one name in particular here.
I recognize 2 names, and both of them are on the side of Fearless, and I think I know which name you're talking about. You're talking about Zoe.
Yes, I am in fact talking about Zoe. So as folks may know, us coming from the CCA side of things. So Zoe has been a player over on the CCA. It's been an absolute privilege to watch them just kick some serious butt in Division 6 last season, being one of our CCA All Div 6 players.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I recognize Sawyer as well on the side of Fearless. I haven't really talked to them much as of late, but I do know I played with them during Study Abroad 1, hosted by CCA over a year ago.
Woo! Yeah, that's been certainly a while, but. Nonetheless, I'm really excited to see what these teams bring out for us as we take a look at the map list for round 5. We will get things kicked off with Splat Zones on Museum de Alfonsino. Game 2 will be Clamblitz on Inkblot Art Academy, and we will wrap things up on Tower Control Hagglefish Market. But with game number 1, Splat Zones Museum on deck here, Vapor, what's your take here? Because I know you've got some choice words for Museum.
Let's see here. What words can I use that IPL won't yell at me? I do not like this map. It is a giant bowl, but there is definitely some competitive integrity with this. So yeah, I have to give it that. It is a battle for mid, but once you lose control of your plat, it can snowball very quickly, and that's what the scary part is. Once you get wiped, it's almost over. Like it is with almost every map, but especially these more bull-like maps, similar to Museum, similar to Splat Zones on Scourge Gorge, as a more extreme example, that they can be very snowball heavy once a team loses control of their key area. And let's head right into this as we see some team comps, the Gold Nautilus and Hydra coming out.
And more importantly, that Tri-Novel. Oh, yes, ConfiTeam, you know how to win my heart. So, a couple of pretty interesting comps here, to say the least. ConfiTeam probably has a composition that nobody else has run in competitive Splatoon ever, and that makes me excited. Because Nautilus, Hydra, Tri-Novel, Octo-Shot combo. You're definitely going to be playing for some range here. They're going to be doing a lot of just hanging out on their plat and trying to poke from afar. So Fearless really going to have to live through that Zuka and Crab and Pencil to try to match some of that range as well.
Panthers on that Nautilus, finding a trade with Milk on the dualies, but first control does go into Fearless's hand, as it's going to be Bamboo on this Hydra, playing this background and trying to make sure that they don't lose control of their plat as much as possible. Throwing out that Boomerang, trying to activate the team to get right back in. they do get that recap, still holding onto a lead early on.
Yeah, very close between these two teams in the opening minute. But it's going to be some trading here. Oh, everybody's starting to fall down, and it's going to be ConfiTeam that's now going to be on the back foot. The Octoshot going to be able to jump out and keep that special online, which will be crucial for their retake here. Now that Fearless is on their plat, has control of the zone, will get the lead here as well. And this is going to be a massive team fight on plat, and now it's going to be Infinity that is going to have to retreat here a little bit, and now this will be ConfiTeam that gets back control. So continuing this pendulum swing with the control of the zone between these two teams.
Yeah, and it was Fearless that did get to that plat. However, they were able to get pushed out by those trip strikes. So they are up top trying to get that jump out, and they do with that cooler buff. It's going to be the Blaster and the Shot trying to play for their lives. Finding 2 down, numbers advantage for them. The Blaster looking for the Hydra, last one. That is a favor of Fearless. Go up to that plat, get that key position. There you go, Fearless. Nice job, nice wipe. And now they're in control of the zone once again.
And Flame with a timely Kraken here to try to make this retake even more difficult for ConfiTeam. They maintain the numbers advantage, doing a great job of spacing right now, and just trying to be as much of a nuisance as possible. 2v2 situation now as Fearless does retake the lead. So now there's bombs coming through on the plat. It looks like Fearless is setting themselves up to try to knock this one out. A last-ditch effort here is going to have to come out as Bamboo does have that Booyah Bomb online. They're going to have to pop this sooner rather than later, but it looks like they're going to focus using on the main weapon to try to flip this zone, but that Booyah Bomb is coming way too late now, and Fearless will run away with this after what was some insane back and forth between these two squads, and will claim game number 1.
And I definitely agree. A little bit late on the Booyah Bomb, but I had no one to really work with it. Betted a little bit too hard, staggered out a little bit too much to work with that Booyah Bomb at all. So they're just trying to hold it, trying to wait for a team, but once they had an opportunity, it was just a little bit too late.
Yeah, and the key moment of that game there was that wipeout that Fearless was able to get off of ConfiTeam, because that was really, I think, the only wipeout of the game. And as soon as we saw that wipeout, like you said, Vapor, go onto that plat, rush. And they did an excellent job of that. And even on plat, they made sure to maintain their space just enough to where ConfiTeam couldn't punish them for overextending. So they held those key positions wonderfully.
Oh, definitely. And it always comes down to those key positions. Who's able to get there? Who's able to control it the most? Especially in splat zones, and it applies similarly to Clan Blitz as well as we had to Clan Blitz on Inkblot. It's going to be whoever controlled the key position in Museum was that plat area. So Fearless came out strong in that control to hold it. Clan Blitz Inkblot is going to be that Batson plat, more so the plat here in Clan Blitz, but it's just always going to be keeping up that offensive pressure, try to move up with those specials, and control the opponent's plat as much as possible.
Well said there. I think that's a pretty good summary of those key objectives that these teams are going to be wanting to look out for. So, and then on top of that, ConfiTeam realizing how much they got punished by that wipeout, that's going to have to be something that they keep in mind as well. Is, numbers. It's a numbers game always. If you get wiped out, there's literally nothing you can do for a brief moment, and that allows the other team to just make things spiral so quickly. So they just need to come into this one, just be just a tad more conscious of their numbers, where people are at, and if they're at a disadvantage, make sure that they get the opportunity to reel back. But on the flip side, that Fearless knows that, hey, that was such a crucial part of what opened up that game for them. So anticipate them trying to just, keep their foot on the gas and continue to play at a very quick pace. But I'm curious to see what kind of composition adjustments we get, if any, given how unique that game 1 was.
We see the splash come out here, and back to that pencil custom range blaster. Not much change on the side of Fearless, but that sploosh, they're ditching the back line as well. No Hydra on the field from Bamboo, going off to that 10 attack spider shot.
Yeah, certainly a few adjustments were made here. So we went from the Hydra over to a sploosh. So we are definitely trading a lot of the range here now. But this might enable ConfiTeam to play just a little bit faster, just a little bit more aggressive as well. And that's certainly, I think, going to pay dividends for them if they can just, get themselves into those key positions, keep control of these stacks early on, and just try to ward off the crab here as well. These Trip Strikes doing a beautiful job of doing just that, and that sploosh will get the pick, and this should be an opportunity for a bit of a push here out of ConfiTeam.
Bamboo jumping on that box and scoring that power clam in, getting another additional point, but it's going to be Paper's last one up for ConfiTeam, going back to their plat, holding that key position, and they are getting rushed, so they will use that splashdown, not finding anything off it, but they held their plat as much as possible. Even if you go down and lose it, that is still your goal, not to lose it as much as you can. But with Infinity on the backside, trying to take the 1v1 with Bamboo, finding one, Paper's able to clean up. It's only the range blaster left on the side of Fearless, all the way backed up on their plat.
Ooh, a great stop there, and honestly, the fact that they were able to keep holding mid and to find the 3 down on Fearless was absolutely huge there, as now it's going to put them in a nice position, but Flame is coming through with the Kraken, and now ConfiTeam is 2 down, so this could be Fearless's opportunity to make a play, and Flame is certainly going to be the one trying to lead this charge, as they are able to help pick off one there, pick off another, and that is a wipeout again. So Fearless is now looking for their first push of the game, quickly trying to pass clams around, but struggling to do so. They do get their first clam in, they do take the lead, but that's all they had was a 1+3. This push is effectively done, so it is a lead, but a small one at best for Fearless.
Definitely a very small lead. Unfortunately, with the pencil going down, mid is going to flip right back in favor of ConfiTeam. And it's going to be this Nautilus to try to be that opener for this sploosh with that power clam. They do find a trade, but nothing else to follow up. Wait a minute, they're going to do it. Bamboo throwing that power clam in. More points on the board. Splashdown above the ledge, trying to find one. Finds one. Finds two. Almost finding the third as well, but they're going to dive in and try to stop this push as fast as they can. The following clams will come in from that sploosh, but there is the cleanup. There is the effective wipe. They get control back of mid, but they need to keep an eye for where Bamboo is, because they are the first one out of spawn.
Oh, and I love these little jabs that these teams are taking at each other. It's now at this stage, Fearless does have firm control of mid, trying to make a play happen. They have plenty of clams to work with. It's going to take 1+4 to get the lead. 1+3 will tie the game, so they need that fourth little clam on top of that. And they're trying to find a way into the plat, and they do pass the clam to Infinity. A beautiful quarterback throw there, but there's no follow-up. As Sawyer is the last one standing, they have to back up and try to hold their own plat to prevent another scoring push from ConfiTeam. But the beautiful part of what they got out of that push is now a power clam gets them the lead as we enter the final 70 seconds of this game.
That splashdown is going to find one, and an effective 2 down. Mid control will slowly go back in favor of ConfiTeam. Speed with this 52 cal, throwing out those walls, trying to move in, finds Flame, and that's going to be the huge pick to slow down any offense that Fearless is going to have. Still sharking around that side. Infinity going down in that Zuka. Finally, Speed will go down, but Milk is there, followed up by a sploosh. Lots of blood going down, in and out. Sploosh on the backside. 4 clams ready, looking for a jump, but they don't get it off.
Yeah, they were definitely trying to make an aggressive play there. They want to put this game out of reach, but it looks like they might have to settle for a defensive effort here to try to put this one away. 20 seconds to play. They get the stagger. Beautiful teamwork there by ConfiTeam to really start to force Fearless all the way back to the drawing board. They throw a power clam, but they miss. But it does set up the jump. They have 2 power clams to work with. They get them both. Oh, a huge lead now for ConfiTeam. Does Fearless have a power clam to work with? Yes, they do. They will get overtime, but they're going to have to move quickly, and now they need a staggering amount of clams if they want to be able to get this game.
10 seconds and counting left of overtime. Sploosh moving up, trying to find Milk alone on that. One is the other side go. Flame is there looking for the jump, but they don't get it off in time. No points on the board. It's going to be ConfiTeam to run away with a game 2 back again, 1 apiece.
What a gutsy play by ConfiTeam to try and extend that lead in the position that they were in, because when you put all of your eggs in that basket, that is a massive risk. If that push is unsuccessful, Fearless is going to be able to quickly flip that on its head. And again, we said in that position, Fearless needed 1 power clam to take back the lead. 1 power clam is all it needed. So ConfiTeam bet on themselves and said, we are going to go ahead and rely on our offense here to try to put this one away for good. So that way we aren't sweating it on the defensive side. And honestly, kudos to them for betting on themselves, because that was a phenomenal game-ending push.
Oh, definitely, and with that as well, just putting those extra clams in, it left the basket open, even heading into overtime. So with Fearless trying to play slow, making sure they have everything cleared out, that only left them 15 seconds once the basket closed to push all the way up and try to score. That's not enough time to get anything in unless you just hold forward.
Absolutely. And on top of that, we did see Fearless. They had like 25 clams to their name. So that was enough to make a very sustainable push and possibly get back the lead. But the key thing was that ConfiTeam was able to waste a little bit of extra time in that overtime push because of the basket still being open. So again, just an overall gutsy effort there that paid off. So they took the bet and they won. So huge props to them to tie up this set. And again, Vapor, back-to-back sets now. We are going to a decisive game 3.
This is meaningful, and with the tower control on Hagglefish Market coming up, a moving objective is always a little bit tougher. But once you get control, everything can snowball, especially after the second checkpoint, because that second checkpoint gets you to a very strong key position for defense. And for offense, you can clear that out very easily and put so much pressure heading towards that third checkpoint.
Certainly. So it's going to be a tight one for sure, given how these first couple of games have gone. So we're going to be looking for one key moment that is going to swing the game entirely into one team's favor. So you want to just continue to be on top of these opportunities. You know, how can you punish the team for overextending, for not coordinating their specials? So it's going to be small mistakes and who can punish them the most that is going to decide this game and this set.
Definitely. The blasters and speed is going to be the name of this game. Who's able to roll the fastest, who will have the strongest defense. And it's definitely going to be those buckets and blasters. We saw the CRB come out earlier. We did see a few buckets roll in here and there. Trip strikes as well to stall out or even clear those tight key areas for defense are going to be very strong to try to make any offensive push. And going through mid, it's going to be a little bit tough, but it's going to be a huge explosion once a team finally gets control of the other side.
Well, I'm excited to see how this one goes down. These teams are loading on in. Let's do it, Vapor. It's game number 3, and we have a couple of adjustments again out of ConfiTeam.
That Kraken E-Leader coming out from Bamboo this time. Went from Hydra to T-Tech, now to E-Leader. You have those beacons to get some jumps right back in. A little bit more ping as well will definitely help you along the way, especially against a pencil and shot to try to Zuka that leader out.
And that junior with the bubble is going to be crucial for these pushes. They're going to definitely be trying to rely on those to break through some of these early checkpoints as well. And Bamboo lining up some shots right now, not able to find anything quite yet, as the junior will take a lead on this tower as expected, but not going to be able to get to that first checkpoint to utilize that bubble. Great stop early on by Fearless, who gets back control.
Infinity on the side looking for one, but Three will just show up right there. Bamboo on that Kraken finds one and that Flaku. It's going to be now a ConfiTeam to get neutral right back, get in with those beacons. One going down to Speed, pop those whales and get it rolling. Speed moving up, Pastel going down is huge right now for ConfiTeam. Shot goes down as well. Huge control as we roll into the first checkpoint. Bamboo on tower.
Bamboo is going to pop this Kraken. It looks like, I thought they were going to try to use that Kraken to force the checkpoint, but no, they're going to opt to be a bit aggressive with it here. And yes, they find 2. What a play there. Oh, they definitely kind of gave us a little bit of misdirection here, but it paid off beautifully.
Lined up for that double, and it's going to they're going to try to force this checkpoint halfway through, but with 2 going down, this checkpoint still staggered out. Infinity with that Zuka finding another 3 down on the field. It's only Speed on that back side of mid, with the other members coming in from spawn. Flame popping that Kraken, trying to keep control of this far side and force them back into mid. Finally backing up, breaking that beacon as a Fearless tries to play back in for mid. They have that crab already, and they just need to find a few picks to move right through.
This game back to a bit of a neutral state. The 2 players trying to be aggressive, overextending on either side, do get punished. 3v3 now in mid, trying to get their teammates to jump back in. A flank coming in on the right side here from Fearless. They're going to get punished for that. Another 3v3 situation. These teams trying to see if they could just get behind enemy lines and make a big play happen. Bamboo with another well-used Kraken to try to help their team get back into the driver's seat of this tower. Nobody's touched this tower in about 30 seconds. Bamboo finally going to just nudge the tower forward, see if they could just keep it moving just inch by inch. They figure if we're at least the ones touching the tower, we're going to be in a much better position, but Flame going to try to answer back with a Kraken of their own.
Kraken doesn't get much value out of it other than just breaking a beacon, but they did scare off the Tri-Slosher a little bit. Did find 2, finally going down. Zuka from Infinity looking to find the pick onto that E-Leader from Bamboo. Diving in with that cooler on the line, trying to find something. They do get a trade out of it. Kraken out from that E-Leader, forcing a jump out. That's going to be an effective wipe on the field, as it's going to be now Fearless back in mid, trying to hold as much as they can, but with that blaster going down, that's going to slow down any offensive push that they had.
Honestly, Vapor, the craziest part of this right now is that neither team has broken checkpoint 1. This has been just, this game is going to be fought and won in mid. And Fearless is now going to try to make their first big advancement here. Infinity making a move forward, not going to be able to find anything there. The tower all the way at checkpoint 1, but not any progress being made there quite yet. But with 3 down on the side of ConfiTeam, Fearless has an opportunity, but nobody is on the tower, finally going to touch it and start moving it forward. A little bit late on the uptake there, and now they're going to have to try to make a play to protect this tower. This game is going to be won and lost right here between these 2 teams. Fearless with the 1-point lead, coming up massive with 30 seconds to play.
Oh my goodness, Infinity didn't get to jump in to saw a little bit more time in that corner, but they will end up going down anyway. Sawyer on top, bubble out. This bubble might have been a little bit early. They might have wanted to save that for this checkpoint to try to confirm the lead, but there goes the Kraken pencil poking out, poking this tower flame on it, trying to push all the members of ConfiTeam out of there. Kraken from Bamboo trying to get on the tower, finds 2 with their help from the 52. 3 going down his own pencil. That is going to be game for ConfiTeam in overtime.
What a play there! It wasn't even Bamboo that got both of those picks! I thought it was with the huge Kraken play, but I believe it was Speed on the Gal that comes up massive! Oh, what an ending to this one!
Oh my goodness. Bamboo kept that Kraken right as overtime was about to hit. Tried to force the 2 members from Fearless off the tower or even get damage on them, and that's what they did. Bamboo got damage with that Kraken, which allowed the 52 to hit the 2-shot. 1 on each player to finish it up. Let's look at this replay one more time. Thank you to our producer, Ink Fairer, for supplying us with these replays. But this Kraken finding both assists. The 52 cleans up both of them and finds the pick with that Kraken on the dualies to clean it up.
I have never seen a more exhilarating tower control game in which 0 checkpoints were cleared. Like that, I think that's the funniest part is that neither team ever cleared a checkpoint. Like they just could not get through it at all. But it was just a great sequence of just finding a couple of key picks. Like everyone was so good on the defensive end. Specials, definitely could have been tightened up a little bit on both sides. I think both teams would agree with that. But nonetheless, it came down to just a series of big plays being made. And as a spectator and a commentator, that creates exciting Splatoon.
Oh, definitely. And that was a perfect ending as well. You can even go and say picture perfect ending. Huge team play at the end there by ConfiTeam with that Kraken, with that 52 dive in just out of nowhere. I think they just came in from spawn as well. So just like that, here we are. You come away with that victory with perfect timing with your team.
Yeah, like both teams really were trying to lean in on those last second keys to victory. Because Fearless looked like they might have been able to get away with it on that final push where they got the 1-point lead. They met their win condition there. But then step 2 was you needed to quickly get back, build up specials, and throw it at the tower. And they just were not able to get there in time because obviously we saw that ConfiTeam answered perfectly and with perfect rhythm, perfect timing, perfect everything to bounce back and get the lead in overtime.
Yeah, that was an amazing ending as we saw as well. Like, well, we can say so much about that ending. Where if anything went wrong, then that's game, just like that.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. That's gonna be a set to remember for some time here at Low Ink. Definitely one of my favorites that I've gotten to commentate in the long history of Low Ink, especially for day 1. So super awesome.
Yeah. And while we're here, we are still waiting on a few rounds, but what we talked about Riptide a little bit earlier. You're going to take your flight, I'm going to be taking carpool. So why don't we have the viewers try to hop in over to Riptide 2024. It's going to be happening September 6th through 8th. That's just about 2 weeks away from today, and signups close at the end of the month.
Oh gosh, it is 2 weeks away. You're so right, Vapor. I am not mentally at 2 weeks away from Riptide. I think my brain is still at 2 months away from Riptide. But nonetheless, it should be a lot of fun. It is officially the largest Splatoon land in the West in history. So come through, join in on the fun. Both Vapor and I will be there with Triggerfish Stone Supremacy. So come say hi to us, and come say hi to a bunch of other folks that will be there.
Yeah, I'm trying to see what the current numbers are at for Riptide 2023. Hold on.
Last I heard was 441, but that could have changed a bit because people are crazy and are signing up constantly.
Yeah, we are currently at 443 players for this upcoming Riptide. So
that's players, like not including spectators, players.
Yeah, specifically for Splatoon as well, which is insane to think about.
Yes. Crazy. Anyways, so that is just awesome, and shout out to everybody that's putting the work in, a bunch of IPL affiliated folks. So it's gonna be a good time. Yeah, let's give another shout out to the TOs that are going to be hosting Riptide, Raze and Kraken Mare. We'll be the host of that, but that's not the end for lands coming up that are already announced, because coming up later in October is going to be Booyah Bay for you California folk. I'm from NorCal. DRF is here from California as well. Woo!
So why not head up to San Jose, California? It's going to be located at the Guild House in downtown San Jose. Registration has started. It will be $25 for early registration until September 6th, with normal registration bumping up to $35 until early to middle October. So sign up now. Event will happen October 19th. So sign up at start.gg/Booyah Bay.
Yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun. I'm so excited to see that NorCal is at last getting a local LAN. So come through. I know there's a lot of people that are already making travel plans from SoCal and Arizona to get up there. So if you're in the region, definitely please give it some consideration. I know there's a lot of work that's already been put into Booyah Bay. So give them the support that they deserve.
Yeah, with many people on collaboration, head TO, you might know Rice from the team Rule of 4 is going to be the main TO for this event.
Hey, and give yourself a little credit, Vapor. You were you were in the kitchen too. You were part of this, cooking things up. I know that you're unfortunately going to be in university jail on the complete opposite side of the country for this, but you were a big part of getting that off the ground.
And shout out to everyone that ends up going. A lot of lands on the west side of the U.S. with Sea Battle, Sunset Surge, now Booyah Bay. We had SoCali for a while as well before hiatus. So there's a lot going on, and especially around the collegiate scene as well, because there was one a few months ago in North Carolina, was it?
North Carolina had one, Purdue had one, Irvine, Southern California had one. The lands have been phenomenal, but I will just say West Coast, Best Coast. and yes, you could go ahead and argue about it in chat.
Love the West Coast.
Yes, I'm just saying, I think that the products that we're putting out here on the West Coast are doing very well. Not saying that the East Coast ones aren't doing well, but I gotta back the folks here on in California, Arizona, Washington. So those are my people.
Oh Oh, definitely. You've been to a few lands or a few locals as well down south as well, right?
Wait, sorry, say that again.
You've been out to a few locals down south.
Like, I mean, yeah, in SoCal and Arizona, sure, but that's about it. So I don't think I'll be going to the locals on the East Coast anytime soon. But maybe one of the majors. But I mean, hey, I'll be on Riptide. But I guess that's more Midwest than it is East Coast proper.
That's fair. Maybe you should head up to Booyah Bay as well.
I fingers crossed. We'll see. But we do have some of the standings here from the rest of the round 5 as well, where we are getting greater and greater percentages of 2-1 sets, and that is always fantastic to see.
Oh, definitely. We love the 2-1 sets. It just shows that all these teams are very close with each other, and that's what Swiss is meant to be. The longer it goes, the closer you get with the opponent's skill level.
Yeah, absolutely. Taking a look at some of the close matchups here. Chocolate Therapy 2-1 over Disclaimer. Manta Boat Fan Club 2-1 over Shellfire. Last Squid Standing 2-1 over Ethereal. And I know Last Squid Standing has had a phenomenal day so far, but hey, they're being challenged still nonetheless. We Aquatic Little Creatures 2-1 over Metaphobic. I think that might be their third game 3 of the day, third or fourth game 3. So We Aquatic Little Creatures has had a very, very tough day, having to come up clutch left and right.
Yeah, they've been putting in good work though, and especially from a collegiate standpoint, We Aquatic Little Creatures doing very, very well in collegiate, moving out into some other events like Low Wing, that they're holding up their own as well. So props to them, props to any team that's just getting into the community and moving in through these more open events.
Yeah, and taking a look at Group B's standings, we will be seeing a couple of good matchups. So Splatscad, Black Team, another collegiate team. Again, sorry, you're going to hear this a lot from us, but taking their first loss of the day, they're going to move down to 4-1. But that does mean that Sonora is able to move up to 5-0 alongside the Hybrid Family, who won their set against Meows the Chance. That is a fantastic team name, by the way. They're going to be the other 5-0 team going into round number 6 for Group B. So a lot of interesting storylines that are still need to be told here. Honorbound 4-1 as well now. So that was the team we saw in round 4. So non-binary fuss 4-1. So this 4-1 section is going to be absolutely crazy.
Oh, definitely. And we also have our round 6 match ready to go here in a moment, where we have Turbo. I'm not going to say the back half of that because I am going to butcher, because I'm bad at English.
Turbo Torben. One of my coworkers is actually named Torben, so I can back you up there.
Thank you. I'm I don't really know, but they're going to be going up against Watch Me Whip, Watch Me Nay Nay.
Okay, I'm gonna be real. When I saw that being written out in our stream, commentators chat, I just thought that folks were just memeing. I didn't know that was actually the name of the teams that were coming here, and I'm like, why are we whipping a nay nay in chat right now?
I mean, why not? Both these teams are on the verge of being 3-3. Both of them currently at 2-3, trying to sneak into those bottom brackets. So, hey, props to them for putting in the work as we go off to our first matchup, or first game, I should say, Rainmaker on Undertow Spillway.
Yeah, Rainmaker Undertow Spillway. I love this as a choice in game number 1, just because this gives you a really good opportunity to feel out your opponent and start to set the tone early. You're going to see some good back and forth pushes, ideally, but you get it definitely is tough to knock out here. So if you can run away with it, by all means, but this tends to go, the full 5 minutes more often than not. So that's why I think this really does work out as an ideal game number 1 for both teams, just to figure out exactly how this set is going to go as a whole.
Definitely, we see the double shot heavy edit comp going to be a little bit fast paced on both sides with that carbon and paintbrush from Turbo Torben.
Yeah, definitely some interesting comps here. I am pleased to see what Turbo Torben is bringing out as well, because that is a very unique composition. Nothing truly meta about this at all. As Pull-On is going to be able to find a nice pick there. Edit on edit action. They're definitely getting the upper hand early on as Turbo Torben with the numbers to work with, plus that cooler. They will find an opportunity here to pick up this Rainmaker, but just slowly approaching it as the bombs, trying to make this difficult on Turbo to make their first move of the game. And now these trip strikes is actually going to push them out of the way completely, opening up that right-hand side, but they're going to go ahead and opt to go left here. Possibly could have been an easy checkpoint, but nonetheless, they're going to take this slow and steady.
-2, who has this Rainmaker trying to look to move forward, but does get the train with that paintbrush. It is only the splatter shot left up for Watch Me Whip, Watch Me Nay Nay, as the cooler is out for grabbing this Rainmaker, going top mid and looking to try to find a pick as they move up. Zuka out, finds one. That left side only has one member up, and it looks to be that 52 gal trying to stall in the corner, and they go down. Moving in from mid is going to be the 10 attack, and there goes that left side, pretty much free. The Zuka almost finding the pick, but they go down anyway on the backside. Good clean up by Turbo Torben as they still have advantage with the Rainmaker in hand, going through these greats. Less than 50 points on the clock, and that is going to be a full wipeout, finally clearing as much as they can, get back into mid and try to hold as much.
Yeah, a great defensive effort there by Watch Me Whip as they finally do get that wipeout, as you mentioned. Now trying to see if they can match that push, at least clear the checkpoint. They do have the numbers to do so, but of course, right as I say that, they do go 2 down. They're going to just full send this, try to get the checkpoint with the limited numbers that they have, and that is going to be a delayed wipe. So they do get close to that checkpoint, but still not clearing it. So they do have a lot of time to work with still, as we are barely approaching the halfway mark of this game. So they're going to just have to build up some specials here and see if they can turn this one around. But Turbo Torben finding a beautiful double there, and this could be more points on the board if they play their cards right.
Rip Strike's not able to get to that Rainmaker, but they're going to want people in front. The paintbrush, Frill, holding this Rainmaker, trying to move up with their team. Heavy edit, all members of Turbo Torben are in front of this Rainmaker, trying to move up. But with 2 members going down, they're just going to rush for points as much as they can. 31 on the board. It's only this junior Silly Cat finding one, holding that corner as much as possible. Just sharking out, might be looking to steal this Rainmaker, but that whale is going to force them away.
Yeah, good use of the whales there, because you know for a fact that they were getting ready for the sneaky play. They knew they were there, but that just completely pushed them out, as we have a minute and a half to play in this game. Watch Me Whip trying to see if they can make a play happen here, as they have been on the back foot for a large chunk of this game. They're going to need to come up with a nice stop here, utilize some of these specials. And oh, what on earth happened there? 3 down on the side of Watch Me Whip, and now forced to retreat it back all the way to the pedestal. This should be more points on the board for Turbo, but no, they're not going to get there. They're actually going to get pushed out entirely. So what could have been even more points on the board is actually going to be Watch Me Whip finding an opportunity to turn some defense into offense.
looking for that turn, as you said, moving up into mid. They need to get a lot of paint down and try to find these sharking weapons. Carbon swung right by, finding one, finally going down. There's two down. That's the paint down on the side of Turbo Torben. So they need to try to make him move and make him move quick. Get to that left side, as it's going to be one down Frill. Taking another trade there. Carbon sneaking in with that pincer play, traded down, and it's only the shot last one up as Sox is looking to find the one with the Zuka.
Yeah, and they're in a bit of a tricky position now as they lose two members and that Rainmaker just not in a good spot. It's going to be Turbo Torben that picks this one up, and I thought they were going to retreat with it, but they said, hey, we're going to take it right to you and keep fighting. So a bit risky there, but Turbo Torben does take a game number one.
Well, just a little bit risky there. Just a little bit. If they did end up dying with that Rainmaker there at the end, we would have gone into overtime. And the popping grab would have had to be for Watch Me Whip or Watch Me Nay Nay to have a chance to take the lead. But it was still very, very far away. So, but still not really too safe to grab there at the end.
They want to live life on the edge. That's really what that was about. And sometimes you got to create a little bit of extra fun. Been there, done that. That's for sure. So I don't fully blame them. But we will be getting geared up for game number 2, Splat Zones on Mahi Mahi Resort. So Vapor. I mean, we saw that a couple of pretty unique comps coming out there. I feel like when we have teams that do show up with these very, very non-meta comps, they tend to be more susceptible to making adjustments from game to game, regardless if they win or lose, as we've kind of saw in that previous set as well. I think that kind of enters in a brief but interesting discussion of how those adjustments get made, especially with non-meta weapons.
Yeah, and especially if you do look at the comp for Turbo Torben in that past game, there are two weapons that don't really paint too well. So they were relying a lot on that junior player to supply all the paint. Where now we're in zones, so you almost need to have that burst paint energy to just get back to zone whenever you can. So let's see what adjustments that are made here, and we see a tent umbrella roll right out. Carbon Paintbrush is sticking, but tent umbrella from Watch Me Whip, Watch Me Nay Nay, that's going to try to open up mid a little bit, especially with this high water levels.
Yeah, the tent was not what I expected at all, but I am excited to see how this goes. It's going to be the Carbon and the tent clashing early on. They're going to trade each other out, but it's back and forth in this zone as Turbo Torben does get that first control, but ultimately will relinquish it to Watch Me Whip. Watch Me Whip now finding themselves in a great position here with the 2 down and the cooler on their side. They're going to get that Carbon who just threw themselves into mid there. And nonetheless, it is this heavy edit that is punishing folks left and right, doing a great job of keeping the right distance and dodging some of these specials, getting out of the way of that Zuka. They do jump out. I think they actually would have been fine just backing out, but they're going to do a quick jump out, jump back in. That's why I love cooler jumps.
And it allows you to do that very nicely as well. The Carbon did rush forward with that paintbrush, but with 3 members down, it's only that heavy edit to hold down that line, try to keep the zone neutral as long as possible. They do find one, but they go down anyway. Trip strikes out, trying to move into the zone is the Carbon. They go down. It is only that 10 attack, though, trying to hold as much as they can. Then they find one. That's going to be enough for them to hold on for that knockout.
That T-Tech just held the zone on their own for the last 15 ticks. And that bomb on the heavy edit came up massive for them as Watch Me Whip ties up this set in convincing fashion.
Yeah, that bomb was beautiful. If that bomb didn't land on the heavy edit or any one of the players that was there, it probably would have gone into neutral as much as possible. So we could have been in a little bit of a longer game, but once again, for the final time for today, meaningful final point.
Honestly, as commentators, this is everything we could have asked for. We wanted exciting sets, and we are getting, these 1-1 game threes every single time for the last 3 rounds. So I am excited that we are going to get to end this off on such an exhilarating note, and it's going to come down to Clamblitz on Crab Leg Capital.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. I don't really know how to talk about this one, because you want your line to play the greats and control the greats, because if you control the top mid, then you can basically control the entire map. However, you are very vulnerable there. I know from experience.
Yeah.
You're very vulnerable, so anything, a blaster, a slosher, anything with some sort of medium range can destroy you just top mid, and then you lose control of the entire map.
Well, I think the also interesting thing here is that chances are these teams are going to probably be sticking with these heavy edits based on those first 2 games, which definitely doesn't hold greats in as convincing of a way as you would, let's say, Pencil or E-Leader. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see if there are backline adjustments, because if you're going to see it, it's going to be here, just because heavy edit does do a good job still, but it's technically not the optimal choice given the layout of this map and what those key positions require.
Oh, definitely, and let's head into this one more time for the day. Heavy at each side, Custom Beamer back out, Tent Umbrella back out. Let's go right at it.
Oh, this is going to be a lot of fun here. These teams know what they want to play. They want to stick with what they've got. And this is going to mean that we're going to see a lot of different vulnerability points on both sides. So it's going to come down to who can make the right plays at the right time and just make the most of the other team's aggression. Like here, Sush able to pick off that carbon. That's going to get things kicked off for them with a fantastic opening, but they will lose the tent as well. So early on, it's going to be a pretty stalemate game, but now we're seeing Turbo Torben be the first aggressors moving up as a team.
Log right beneath these ledges, trying to move up and get as much control as they can, find those clams, but with the edit up top, they're trying to shut down that ramp as much as possible. Zuka from the far side looking for any sort of pick, but unable to get anyone. 10 drops, goes down to Frill on the paintbrush. Control still in favor of Turbo Torben until they go multiple down.
Yeah, neither team in scoring position quite yet. Turbo Torben was close there, but wasn't quite able to get onto plat. And now it's going to be Watch Me Whip trying to find a way back in the mid. They haven't really been successful there yet, as Pull-On once again able to utilize the greats to their advantage. I think that's the one great thing about actually having heavy edit here, is just that swift movement speed that you're going to be able to have while holding on to these key positions like the greats. But nonetheless, it's still just going to be a bunch of little fights happening in different sections of this map right now, and it is a bloodbath for these teams as we are back to a neutral game 2v2 between these two.
Sox finding the pick onto the carbon roller, slow down the rush, and there goes the junior, there goes all the paint for Turbo Torben. Sox trying to look on this far side as 2 of their members go down, -2 in the back, last one up to hold as much control as they can, the 10 missile as well, forcing them all the way back to their basket. There's enough claims from Turbo Torben to make this push, but they just can't build the power in time.
Oh, yeah, a bit of a missed opportunity here. They're going to have to use the Zuka now to try to get in. They need to be sending that Zuka right to the back of that basket, but not able to find any value there. It's going to be trading left and right once again. Finally, a power clam being made, but it's going to be Frill that misses the shot, but a jump is coming in, and it's another miss. The Carbon going to make a move and not able to get there in time. It's a wipeout, and it's going to be Watch Me Whip that actually gets the first score in the game. When they had their backs against the wall, they flipped it in a hurry.
And that's exactly what they needed to do. With the wipe out, though, it's going to be a little bit tougher to get right back in, but there's no clams on the field for Turbo Torben to get a quick score right away.
Oh, but one thing's for certain, though, this game has gotten a lot more volatile as any little movement between these two teams is being punished and being taken advantage of. And honestly, right now, yes, it seems like it's going to come down to where these clam spawns are at. We are actually going to see a 2 power clam score, make it a 3 power clam score for Turbo Torben. A huge explosion of points. And now they're going to force Watch Me Whip to have to make a play, try to shut them out. This basket will close, so it does give Watch Me Whip an opportunity to breathe just a little bit, but they're now trying to pick up the pieces from what seemed to have been the clam economy working in their favor, preventing Turbo Torben from getting a score, to suddenly 3 power clams going in the basket.
I was going to say, it's going to be really tough to score for Turbo Torben because of that Tentabrella to shut down the ramp. But it's the edit, the heavy edit from the greats to score it in. Everyone turned their attention up top, including the 10, which allowed everyone else to move in through the front, get 2 more power clams in on the board, plus a lot more additional 37 remaining. However, it's time for Watch Me Whip, Watch Me Nene to try to move up this ramp. Sharky is one, Swoosh is able to get that power clam in, but it's going to be the Carbon to meet more at the ramp to shut down any further points.
Yeah, and this grab of the pity clam just came in a little bit late, so now they're gonna have to get back to the drawing board because this pity clam is essential to Watch Me Whip's push in the closing seconds here. They will get overtime. It's gonna be 20 seconds to score. It's really gonna come down to this next team fight here as well, as the Carbon trying to make a move towards -2, not able to find it. The Cooler coming out, able to pick it up. A bit of a stagger now on the side of Turbo Torben, but no, 2 players move up and they both get punished. Swoosh trying to make a move for the basket, not able to do so. The 10th is going to go down as well, and that is game as Turbo Torben comes from behind in this one to take the set.
That's so unfortunate. If it was stalled a little bit more, we saw the shot go up, trying to take a fight with the shot that was sharking just off behind the wall, and the sharking shot just ignored the shot that was shooting at them and shot out the heavy edit, which had the power clam. If that was just a general 1v1, the power clam would have scored to extend the points a little bit more, but they went after the power clam to shut down any score as much as possible.
Oh man, what a game, what a set, what a day, Vapor. I mean, we got some fantastic sets on stream today, and I feel like that's all you can ask for.
Of course, that is all you can really ask for sure, as these sets do start to finish up a little bit. Some scores getting reported in, like Bash getting a 3-0 over Baja Blast, and Jetlag with a 2-1 over the Sea Dragons.
Non-Binary Fuss 3-0 as well. They were one of those 4-1 teams. So Non-Binary Fuss now moving up to 5-1, punching their ticket to the Alpha bracket. So that's kudos to them. So a couple of good performances here to wrap up the day. So now all that is left is to anticipate where the rest of these scores go and who ultimately will be playing tomorrow to be banned from Low Ink.
I mean, who even knows? ConfiTeam we saw earlier, currently in a 1-1 against Coughing Baby.
That's still a great name.
That's fire, man.
Yeah, ConfiTeam, I'm going to be interested to see as well, because yeah, we got a good look at them. So are they going to be able to tie this one up and, you know, try to get into those top brackets here? So it's a lot of interesting things that still need to kind of unfold. So I am excited to kind of watch the rest of this bracket get filled out. So honestly, best of luck to the teams that are wrapping up their day ones.
For sure, these teams have been through a lot. How long have we been going since 1 p.m. Eastern? We are coming up on 4.5 hours of time to 3.5 hours.
3.5, yeah.
Well,
not that long.
Not that long, but still a good amount of time, and then the rest until tomorrow. DRF, where can the viewers find you at?
Yeah, you can go ahead and find me on Twitter at DRF_Splatoon and on Twitch at TritonDRF. But per usual, you can go ahead and find me over at the CCA covering all things collegiate Splatoon. Vapor, how about yourself, my friend?
You guys can find me over at V4P0R_SPL on Twitter and Twitch. Also, let's give a shout out to Inkling one more time for the behind-the-scenes production, as well as our staff led by Popgun, Brush, and Hoenn Hero. Thank you all for tuning in to Loading 1. We'll be back here 1 p.m. Eastern Time tomorrow for the start of Top Cut.